2020 just got even worse. If you see a pig, call for help and run the other way. A flu virus with pandemic potential was just found in China. The swine flu is carried by pigs but can infect humans. The swine flu is an extremely infectious disease, and since 2009 there has been over 284,000 deaths. Most heavily protected places on the planet, Part 9. Fort Knox in Kentucky. Fort Knox holds most of America's gold. Guarding it, it has over 30,000 troops, over 300 tanks, and attack helicopters. And if that's not enough, the building itself is protected by 4 layers of barriers, motion sensors, and electronic surveillance. The walls are made of 4-foot thick granite and lined with cement and steel and fireproof material. The sealed windows are blast-proof and fireproof. The front door weighs 22 tons and can only be opened when certain members of the staff enter their combinations, which also change daily. The vaults inside are 27 inches thick and are made of steel and concrete and can withstand an atomic bomb blast. 5 crazy facts about India. They have floating post offices. A meteor formed the breathtaking Lornar Lake, which changes to pink. They have magnetic hills where gravity doesn't work and cars roll upwards. Mystery Lake, or known as Skeleton Lake because of the hundreds of human skeletons found at the bottom of the lake. The Lifeline Express, which is the world's first hospital train. You were today years old when you found this out. Paper margins were originally created to prevent important information from ending up in a rat's belly. People kept their writing away from the edges because that's where rats chewed books in storage. The blue and red parts on an eraser are not for pen and pencil. The red is made for rubbing the pencil particles out of the paper, while the blue side is stiffer and scrubs off a thin layer of the paper itself. A pen cap has a hole in it, so that in case you accidentally swallow it, air can still go through and you can still breathe. You were today's years old when you found this out. The drawer under the oven isn't used for storing pans. It's made to keep food warm until you're ready to eat. If you turn your toothbrush around, you'll notice there's a rough material on the back. That part of the toothbrush is actually the tongue cleaner. On a Tic Tac container, have you ever noticed the tiny indentation on the lid? It's actually supposed to be used as a dispenser to serve you 1 Tic Tac at a time. Like for Part 2. Here's how to survive a sinking ship. The first step is to listen. The captain will give a safety briefing over the speakers. Next, find where your life jacket is and practice putting it on. Carry your important medication with you in case you're on a lifeboat for several days. Next, go for a walk and take a mental note of the signs, stairwells, and exits. If you're on the lower deck, start making your way up to the top deck. And do not jump into the ocean. Listen to the crew and make your way onto a lifeboat. When you're on the lifeboat, try to collect any rainwater you can, and also tie your lifeboat to other lifeboats, which will increase your chances of getting rescued. 2020 just got better. The famous singer Akon just got a $6 billion grant to start building his futuristic city. It is planned to be a futuristic tourist city that only uses cryptocurrency. Akon City's Phase 1 is expected to be completed by the end of 2023 and will see the construction of hospitals, hotels, malls, police stations, schools, a waste facility, and a solar power plant. And Phase 2 will run from 2024 to 2029 and will end with a complete cryptocurrency city. Visiting this city will be like visiting a real-life Wakanda. The Strangest Planets in Space, Part 2. This exoplanet is located 63 light-years away from us. The planet is slightly larger than Jupiter and looks awesome. However, the atmosphere is made up of mostly sand and glass particles. It also rains at a temperature of 1700 degrees Fahrenheit and winds 7 times faster than the speed of sound. And if that isn't bad enough, the rain is sharp pieces of glass that travel faster than a mile per second. Like for Part 3. 2020 just got even crazier. Scientists are working on bringing back the extinct woolly mammoth. They're going to merge pieces of DNA from ancient mammoth specimens with modern elephant living cells, which will create an elephant-mammoth hybrid. And many believe woolly mammoths would help fight climate change. The dumbest people ever, Part 1. In 2005, a man named Marco decided to clean the chimney in his workshop. He decided he was going to use a simple broom. When he went to clean the chimney, he realized the broom was too short. So he started to improvise. He He realized he needed a chain to pull the broom through the chimney and a heavy object to weigh it down. And out of all the items in his workshop, he decided to use a grenade to hold it down. Now all he had to do was weld the grenade to the broom and chain. Although he failed to think about what would happen once the flame hit the grenade. It exploded, killing him instantly. Terrifying animals that haven't gone extinct, Part 2. The giant golden-crowned bat. It is the largest bat species in the world, and they grow up to 6 feet. However, they are fruit eaters and are not dangerous to humans. Here's what would happen if you fell into a black hole. You would start accelerating towards it faster and faster until you reach the point of no return. The gravitational force of a black hole is so strong, light can't even escape it. If you started falling feet first, your feet would feel a stronger gravitational pull than your head, which would then stretch you apart. The most common black holes are only 9 miles wide, but weigh as much as 20 suns. However, if you fall into a supermassive black hole, your body would remain unharmed as you cross into it. However, at the center, density becomes infinite, so you would be squashed and become one with the black hole. However, Stephen Hawking believed that you could enter an alternative universe. The strangest planets in space, Part 1. On Karat 7b, it rains stones. On one half of the planet, it is extremely hot, reaching temperatures over 4,700 degrees Fahrenheit, which is more than enough to make rocks melt and then evaporate like water on Earth. On the other half of the planet, it is relatively cold, so the rocks condense into huge stone clouds. Then on the hot side of this planet, these clouds fall as rains of magma. On the cooler side of the planet, the rain solidifies into rocks before hitting the ground. How to survive a shark attack. First, don't swim in harbor entrances in deep water because those are sharks' favorite places. Also, don't go in the ocean at night because sharks hunt at night. If you see a shark, stay still. Just float and move slowly. Moving around and flailing your limbs will just agitate it. Do not pee. Urine and blood attracts sharks. If a shark is attacking you, don't play dead. Sharks enjoy an easy meal. You're gonna want to fight the shark. Punch it and kick it as much as you can. You want to aim for its most sensitive body parts, which include the nose, eyes, and its gills. Sharks are known to just give up if they're hit hard enough. If the shark leaves, leave the water because they are known to return to continue the fight. How to survive a tsunami. A tsunami's waves can be over 62 miles long and over 100 feet tall, and travel across full oceans at the speed of a jet airplane. So how do you survive even if you're in a tsunami hazard zone? If you're on the beach and see the water receding, run the other way. The water receding and exposing the ocean floor is the early sign of an impending tsunami. Try to get as far as at least 2 miles away from the ocean or 100 feet above sea level. If you're in the hazard zone and don't have enough time to do either one of these things, in this case, look for a tall building with a sturdy concrete foundation and get to the highest point possible. And if you can't make it to a building in time, your best bet is to grab something and hold on. Grabbing onto something and staying safe is important because tsunamis can accumulate tons of debris and move it at high speeds. Also, tsunamis consist of multiple waves that can be 5 minutes apart to an hour apart. So stay where you are, where it's safe until you hear from local officials. You will not believe this story. Kirk Alexander, 48 years old from Salem, Oregon, ordered pizza from Domino's every night for 10 years. Suddenly, he went missing for 11 days and they didn't receive any calls. Finally, one night, the manager, Sarah Fuller, went over to his house to check it out. When she arrived at the house, she knocked several times but no answer, and the phone went straight to voicemail. Seriously worried now, she rushed back to the store and called 911. The deputies broke down the door and found him on the ground in need of immediate medical attention. He was then rushed to the hospital and put in a stable condition. If he was found 1 day later, it might have been too late. Here's what would happen if you spent 30 seconds on the moon without a spacesuit. As soon as you are on the moon, you will have no time to admire the view because there is no air to breathe. However, you will not die instantly. You have about 15 seconds before you pass out. Also, because the moon has no atmosphere, the pressure is super low, causing you to blow up and expand like a blowfish. And while this is happening, do not try to hold your breath because your lungs will burst. Also, because of the moon's conditions, any water in open area will boil. That includes your eyes, skin, and also the saliva boiling off your tongue. If you visit the moon during the day, temperatures reach 260 degrees Fahrenheit. And at night, temperatures drop to as low as negative 280 degrees Fahrenheit. And lastly, do not inhale any moon dust because it will kill you. Here's how to survive falling from a plane without a parachute. First, if possible, stay in your seat because 2/3 of survivors are wreckage riders. Before you can make any decisions, you will pass out due to the thin air. However, once you wake up, you do not want to nosedive. You want to spread out your body and fall flat. This will slow your speed down. It is now time to figure out where to land. Avoid water because at this height and speed, it will feel like cement. Studies have shown that you need at least a half a meter to give to survive and avoid fatal injuries. This involves haystacks, thick snow, bushes, and other soft things are your best bet. Facts you wish you didn't know, Part 1. The average person eats 8 spiders a year while sleeping. Dogs like squeaky toys because they mimic the sounds of their dying prey. Pool drains are powerful enough to suck your organs out of your body. What if every person in the world jumped at the same time? The world population is 8 billion. If everyone jumped at their homes, nothing would happen. However, if we collected everyone on Earth and put them in the same place, the jump would create a huge amount of energy. First, you will hear the sound of 200 decibels. That is louder than a supersonic jet. If you're extremely lucky, only your eardrums will get blown off. However, there's a very good chance everyone will die. It would also create 100-foot tsunamis and catastrophic earthquakes. If you see this spider, run away and call for help. This is a Goliath bird eater, and they are the largest spider in the world. They can grow up to a foot long and have venomous fangs that can grow up to 1.5 inches long. They also scratch and release the tiny hairs on their body that will leave you itching for days. And they are found in northern South America. How you can control your dreams. You've probably seen the movie Inception where they can control their dreams. However, this technology is becoming a reality. Researchers at MIT just created a wearable gadget that lets you influence your dreams. It's called a Dormio, and it enables its users to extend, influence, and capture their own dreams. People who survived the impossible, Part 1. 22-year-old flight attendant Vesna Vulovic did the impossible when she emerged alive after a 33,000-foot fall. A separatist group planted a bomb in the cargo. After the bomb went off, the plane crashed into the mountains, killing all 28 passengers and the entire crew, except for Vesna. She was hospitalized with a fractured skull, 2 broken legs, and 3 broken vertebrae, but managed to survive and live a full life after. Life hacks, Part 1. While reheating a slice of pizza, putting a glass full of water next to it will help preserve its crispiness. You can buy pills that will make your farts smell like roses and chocolates. Sleeping naked can help boost self-esteem. Here's why you should never get the hiccups. There was a man named Charles Osborne that was born in 1894. When he turned 22 years old, he had an attack of the hiccups. However, the hiccups did not stop and continued for 68 years. The hiccups magically stopped when he turned 95 years old, but he passed away a year later. Terrifying animals that haven't gone extinct, Part 1. So we all know the murder hornet. However, I'm about to teach you about the Executioner Wasp. The Executioner Wasp is the largest type of wasp. It is known to have the most painful sting in the world. However, they are non-aggressive, unlike the murder hornet. In 2018, Coyote Peterson had himself get stung. He said it felt like his flesh was melting, and the venom made him not able to feel his arm. Deadliest animals in the world, Part 1. The Tarantula Hawk. It is a spider wasp that preys on tarantulas and has a venomous sting. These wasps can fly around in the air and sense chemicals that will tell them where a tarantula's burrow exists. The wasp will land on the ground and go down into the spider's burrow. The tarantula hawk will taunt the spider with its front legs, and then as soon as the spider exposes itself, the tarantula hawk will insert its 1/4-inch stinger. It will instantly put the spider into a state of paralysis. The wasp pulls the tarantula back down into its burrow, while the tarantula is still alive. It then lays an egg on the tarantula and leaves. The spider stays in a state of paralysis in which it can't move. The egg eventually hatches with larvae and they eat the spider while it's still alive.